Book of Heaven, Volume 16, November 24th, 1923. The Story of the Divine Will. How the Most Holy Virgin, for the work of redemption, made all the acts of the divine will her own and prepared the food for her children. This is why she is Mother and Queen of the Divine Will. Luisa must do the same for the work of the Fiat Voluntas Tua. I was doing the hour of the Passion, in which my sorrowful mamma received her son, dead, into her arms and placed him in the sepulchre. And in my interior I was saying, "My mamma, together with Jesus, I place all souls into your arms, that you may recognize them all as your children, inscribe them one by one into your heart, and place them inside the wounds of Jesus. They are the children of your immense sorrow, and this is enough for you to recognize them and love them. And I want to place all generations in the supreme will, so that no one may be missing. And in the name of all, I give you comforts, compassions, and divine reliefs." Now, while I was saying this, my sweet Jesus moved in my interior and told me,
"My daughter, if you knew with what food my sorrowful mamma nourished all these children."
And I, "What was it, O my Jesus?" And he again,
"Since you are my little one, chosen by me for the mission of my will, and you live in that fiat in which you were created, I want to make known to you the story of my eternal will, its joys and its sorrows, its effects, its immense value, what it did, what it received, and the one who took to heart its defense. The little ones are more attentive in listening to me, because their minds are not filled with other things. They are as though empty of everything. And if one wants to give them a different food, they feel disgusted because, being little, they are used to taking only the milk of my will, which, more than loving mother, keeps them attached to its divine breast to nourish them abundantly. And they remain with their little mouths opened, waiting for the milk of my teachings, and I amuse myself very much. Oh, how beautiful it is to see them, now smiling, now rejoicing, now crying, in hearing me narrate the story of my will. Well then, the origin of my will is eternal. Never did sorrow enter into it. Among the divine persons, this will was in highest concord. Even more, it was one. In each act it emitted, both ad intra and ad extra, it gave us infinite joys, new contentments, immense happiness. And when we wanted to issue the machine of creation, how much glory, how many harmonies and honor did it not give to us? As soon as the fiat was released, this fiat diffused our beauty, our light, our power, order, harmony, love, sanctity, everything. And we remained glorified by our own virtues, in seeing by means of our fiat the flowering of our divinity veiled in the whole universe. Our will did not stop. Swollen with love as it was, it wanted to create man. And you know his story, therefore I move forward. It was he who caused the first sorrow to my will. He tried to embitter the one who loved him so much, and who had made him happy. My will wept more than a tender mother who weeps over her son, who is crippled and blind only because he withdrew from the will of his mother. My will wanted to be the first actor in man for nothing else but to give him new surprises of love, of joys, of happiness, of light, of riches. It wanted to always give. This is why it wanted to act. But man wanted to do his will and broke it from the divine. If only he had never done that. My will withdrew, and he fell into the abyss of all evils. Now, in order to rejoin these two wills, one was needed who would contain a divine will within himself. Therefore, since I, eternal Word, loved this man with an eternal love, we, the divine persons, decreed together that I was to take on human flesh in order to come and save him, and to rejoin the two broken wills. But where to descend? Who would be the one who would lend her flesh to her Creator? This is why we chose one creature, and by virtue of the foreseen merits of the future Redeemer, she was exempted from original sin. Her will and ours were one. It was this celestial creature that understood the story of our will. We narrated everything to her, as to a little one, the sorrow of our will, and how, by breaking his will from ours, ungrateful man had constrained our will within the divine circle, almost hampering it in its designs, preventing it from communicating to him its goods and the purpose for which he had been created. For us, to give is to make ourselves happy, as well as the one who receives from us. It is to enrich without being impoverished. It is to give what we are by nature, forming it in the creature by grace. It is to go out of ourselves to give what we possess. By giving, our love pours itself out, and our will makes feast. If we were not to give, why would we form the creation? So, the mere being unable to give to our children, to our dear images, was like a mourning for our supreme will. Just in seeing man operate, speak, walk without the connection of our will, because it had been broken by him, and that currents of graces, of light, of sanctity, of science, etc., would run to him had he been with us, but could not. Our will took the attitude of sorrow. In each act of creature there was a sorrow for us, because we saw that act empty of divine value, without beauty and sanctity, completely dissimilar from our acts. Oh, how the celestial little one understood this highest sorrow of ours and the great evil of man in withdrawing from our will. Oh, how many times she cried hot tears because of our sorrow, and because of the great misfortune of man. Therefore, fearing, she did not want to concede even one act of life to her own will. This is why she remained little, because her will had no life in her. How could she become grown up? But that which she did not do, our will did. It raised her all beautiful, holy, divine. It enriched her so much as to make of her the greatest of all. She was a prodigy of our will, a prodigy of grace, of beauty, of sanctity. But she remained always little, so much so that she would never descend from our arms, and taking to heart our defense, she repaid all the sorrowful acts of the supreme will. And not only was she completely in order with our will, but she made all the acts of creatures her own, absorbing into herself all our will rejected by them. She repaired it, she loved it, and keeping it as though deposited within her virginal heart, she prepared the food of our will for all creatures. Do you see, then, with what food this most loving mother nourishes her children? It cost her all her life, unheard of pains, the very life of her son, to form within herself the abundant deposit of this food of my will, and to keep it ready to nourish all her children as tender and loving mother. She could not love her children more. By giving them this food, her love had reached the ultimate degree. Therefore, among the many titles that she has, the most beautiful title that could be given to her is that of Mother and Queen of the Divine Will. Now, my daughter, if my mama did this for the work of redemption, so must you for the work of the Fiat Voluntas Tua. Your will must have no life in you, and making all the acts of my will for each creature your own, you will deposit them within yourself, and while repaying my will in the name of all, you will form within yourself all the necessary food to nourish all generations with the food of my will. Each saying, each effect, each additional knowledge about it will be one more taste which that they will find in this food, in such a way that they will eat it with avidity. Everything I tell you about my volition will serve to whet their appetite, and so that they may take no other food at the cost of any sacrifice. If a food were said to be good, to restore one's strengths, to heal the sick, to contain all tastes, and even more, to give life, to embellish and make one happy, who would not make any sacrifice in order to take this food? So it will be for my will. In order to make it loved and desired, knowledge is necessary. Therefore, be attentive, receive within yourself this deposit of my will, so that, as a second mother, you may prepare the food for our children. In doing so, you will imitate my mama. It will cost you much as well, but in the face of my will, any sacrifice will seem nothing to you. Do it as a little one, never descend from my arms, and I will continue to narrate to you the story of my will.
Thank you for being a part of our community here at Divine Will app. If you enjoy listening to Jesus' lessons on how to live in the divine will, please give this video a thumbs up. Your likes help us reach more souls yearning to live in the kingdom of the divine will. We'd love to hear your thoughts and reflections, so drop a comment below. Your insights not only enrich our community, but also inspire others on their spiritual journey. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. By joining us, you're helping to spread the news of the kingdom of the divine will, so that together we can bring His kingdom to reign on earth as it is in heaven. In the divine will, always.